Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian.
And I'm Joey.
Hi, and I'm Jess.
This is episode 143 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. Come on along, everybody. Spend the next hour or so with us talking about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping, the 2022 Gravel Worlds.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or just playing bikes. And in typical fashion, Jess, as soon as I hit the record button, Joey gets up and walks away. He finds something else in the house to do. That's okay.
Yes.
I did notice looking around the table that we are all being very responsible this evening. And there is just a lot of polar seltzer. So why don't we just rattle off our polar seltzer flavors?
Yeah, I'm drinking lime, but I've already crushed a orange one and a red one already. So
you are literally like keeping polar seltzer in business.
My throat is a little hoarse from car rider duty today. So
that's doing it. Joey, what flavor do you have in front of you?
Well, as Yins have all the polar seltzer, that was really bad. Like PA.
Yeah, I know what you're.
I was like, what is he doing? And why is he talking like that?
I have an orange one, but I'm gonna have a beer soon.
Okay, I'm having cranberry lime. I'm surprised I didn't get a grapefruit though, because that's usually
we don't like the grapefruit.
So the
Brian drinks it all.
Grapefruit's for the guests. Jess, what have you been up to this week? Talk to us. I see you're wearing your unpaved sweatshirt. That looks sharp.
I know this is going to sound weird, but I came home from work today and Joey laid out my afternoon clothes on the bed. So he had my sweatpants that I like wearing and my sweatshirt that is the most comfortable for me. But when Joey goes away, he always leaves a sweatshirt with me. Aww. So he left his Nittany sweatshirt with me while he was on the Nittany bike ride this weekend. Besides being a very tired teacher as my eyes start twitching, I got the COVID vaccine in one arm and the flu vaccine in the other arm on Friday. So I was exhausted this weekend. Yeah. I literally slept I think 6 hours
during
the day.
Yeah.
During the day.
Yeah, you had the co-flu.
Yeah.
Co-flu.
Co-flu.
Joey, what's going on in your world, my friend?
Well, lots been going on. I just got back from a road trip.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, see, in the last 4 days, I've been to North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Virginia.
You've been a traveling man.
You have been a traveling man.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
So tell us about Nittany. You went up to spend the weekend.
So I went up to just out of state college, Phillipsburg, I think it's called, where the Nittany headquarters is, the place of all goodies in Pennsylvania, and got up there. We left early Saturday, got there midday. We stopped for Dunkin' and Chick-fil-A, but got there, and this is how you know it's going to start good. I was looking at the map. We went to Weiss, got our side dish, and then I noticed on the maps there's a barbecue place within the industrial park area. Mm-hmm. So I pull in, Evan's there and some other folks that work there, and I'm like, "Hey, is that barbecue place good at all?" He's like, "You could eat there, but I can just make you lunch." So he just started up all his grill or his skillets and stuff, and amazing hot sausage, peppers and onions before everyone got there, a nice hot.
Evan should have been a chef, or maybe he was in a previous life or something. I don't know.
Love Evan's demeanor. I love his I think he's a very cool, chill, go with the flow demeanor, which is the exact opposite of mine. So it's
the yin and yang kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Joey
the yins
and
yins.
Yeah. Yins and yous.
Yins and yous. So Evan fired that up, and it was the perfect weather for as everyone loves it and everything. I love nice overcast, like unpaved without like the pouring rain.
Yeah.
And like the ride that day, so everyone got there.
This was Saturday.
Okay. I'm gonna rattle off. So the PA Gravel Company guys were there. Some other bike shops around the state. Who did we spend our time with? Let's see. Well, Nate from Hush Money was there. The Freestyle folks were there, which we met Freestyle before at. I've met Freestyle before.
Okay.
Kindred Cycles, Keystone Bike Crew is there. It was pretty cool. And I don't know, it must have been like 30 of us that first day, which was like 35, 40 miles. Which, to kind of sum up really quick, it was like mix, like the bike, everyone showed up there. Like the bike selection was amazing. Like just, bike shop people, cool bikes. Man, Evan took us down some like ATV trails, like just from the start. Like it was ridiculous. Like the terrain, it wasn't like gravel trails. It was like I needed a nice mountain bike.
So you equated it to the difference.
Yeah, I did. But there was some asphalt, there was some nice gravel, but there was some chunky stuff, which was cool. Like we rode, when he said mixed terrain, it was mixed terrain. Yeah. And like within the first mile, Chris, who I took, this was Chris's first like off-road, non-pavement, not Calvert Cliffs ride. Okay. And it's like a whopping like 50 degrees. People were bundled up. I had shorts, a base layer, a flannel.
I would have puffy pants on then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, puffy pants. Yeah. It was cold. No, it wasn't cold. Like, you definitely warmed up. Chris fell in a huge puddle.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Starting out, I'm like waiting for, like, I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, Chris is going to hate this. And then, like, we're going down some more, like, ATV trails through mud. Like, I'm so glad I ran the Rhombus tires up there. It was so slick from the rain just before that day. And we're all sliding around, and then Chris goes down again before we get out to like the gravel road. And he's like a good spirit. And then we catch back up. Just as we catch up, people starts a decent climb, like gravel. Like a gravel climb, not a roller, like a hill. Like a climb. And my calf muscle was already hurting. That I didn't have any issues with until after unpaved. It kind of always feels like it's throbbing. So, but it. Me and Chris got to the top of that, and then we had some nice rolling gravel, and then another nice big climb, which we did pretty good. Chris found out that he could use all his gears on that one. Yeah, and then it was kind of rolling.
What kind of tires did he have on that Tricross?
Pathfinders.
What size?
38s.
Okay. Yeah, those are gonna be tough.
He ran them too, so we ran them up a little bit. I was running like 30 psi with my 42s. Ooh. We were in the back of the pack, back of the group of folks. Everyone was just kind of over, and then we got to one section where
that's the party section.
The whole thing was a party section. It was fun, and then we hit some cut throughs, and there's this one really gnarly, like tunnel-ish, like the leaves were covering the really big, like fist-sized rocks, and I'm like, and we're all coming through there together. And this is after we rode a really nice downhill and flowy gravel section together, and we're all together. And the last bit of us pop out, and I'm like, oh, God, like, you can't look back. Like, you're hovering, like, trying to control the bike. I don't know where Chris is. And then Chris doesn't pop out for a little bit. So there's, like, a few of us, and then like, Evan's wife was down there, and there was, like, a group of 5 of us. And then some other there was another blowout back there. The guy with us blew out and dented his rim, so his tubeless wasn't hold. So we were, like, 25 minutes behind the group, and they ended up waiting. Then we kind of all rode in together. Some like really flowy gravel, like it was beautiful. Nice. And then we got to the climb back because it was the last little bit was an out and back, and I was feeling like it usually takes me like I was finally warmed up, like I was whatever miles in, and me and the rest of the group were going up, and I get to the top of the climb and waiting for Chris, and then H goes by because she was like leading the front of that group. Evan was playing the tail again, and then me and Evan are just chilling, waiting, and like, all right, where's Chris? And he's convinced Chris is ahead, and I call Chris, and Chris overshot us and ended like 12 miles out of town.
Oh my God.
Like,
oh no.
And he was okay. Like, and that same thing, I'm like, oh man, Chris is going to hate me. Like,
so he had gotten ahead of you?
No, he was behind everybody. Like, I should have went with him, but I was just feeling good, so I rode with everyone up the climb together.
He was like 12 miles behind you.
No. So I don't know how far out he was. Basically, I was waiting like a half hour on top of the climb, waiting to the descent, and Evan was there with me for a little bit. And then we called Chris, and Chris is like, yeah, I think I went straight where I was supposed to make the left, going up the last bit of the climb. Then he's like, and Evan's like, oh, he's on the other side of the river. And so there was a pretty long asphalt climb from the bottom of town up to where Nittany was that he had to do at night. Luckily, I brought lights because at this point in time, it was getting dark, and me and Evan were like, all right, let's. So Evan kind of towed me back, and then we rode up an ATV version of that asphalt climb, which was, I don't know what I'd rather have done. Like, it was so gnarly. Like, it's not what we're used to. Like, it's, those 4x4 or those 4-person, like, whatever Polaris
Quads,
things. Yeah. It's full of, like, there's quads all over, and it's meant for those, and it's the same, like, fist size of gravel. And we made it up that, and about a half hour later, Chris rolls in.
I'm having, like, different flashbacks while you're describing
it was cool.
Yeah.
But Chris came back, like, so excited.
Oh, cool.
He was so pumped up. Then we had our little party after, and Evan made, like, we had everything.
Well, Chris is ready to roll. He's
Chris,
ready to go.
The whole time I thought Chris was going to hate me. Chris just loved it even more.
Yeah. He's ready to roll. You can tell he's got that.
Chris is like, I want to go back. And all Chris talked about on the way home is like, I just need to get better at climbing. Like, we need to go up and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And I was like,
it's true, though. It's true.
Well, we can go to Frederick and hit some really nasty climbs.
Well, we can go down to North Carolina.
I mean, Frederick's an hour and a half away.
I know.
Why can't we ever do a flat ride?
Well, I told Jess, like, we ride. I was like, I need to not do a Pennsylvania. I'm not talking this weekend. I'm talking about in general. He wants to, like, do that. I was like, you can go up to the.
I think if I had to do my unpaid prep over again, I would not do anything different except for probably once or twice a month, I would find somewhere to go do some big climb.
Well, I'm saying you can go to
even if it's not gravel, just some big.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Frederick,
legs.
You can go to Frederick and Catoctin and stuff and hit some nasty climbs.
Yeah,
and do that in a quick day trip.
Because I've got I burned in the all day legs. There's no doubt about that. I burned them in strong.
But
so
whatever we did, beat me, like, physically, my lower back and my legs, and that right calf thing only happened.
So was it a rough night? Sleeping in the...
Oh, and then we camped inside, so everyone had the mentality of, like, let's camp out and stuff, but then the weather changed about, kind of like on it's PA weather. It changed like 12 hours out, and it was cold, wet, dewy, and everyone's all like, oh, we're sleeping. I was like, dude, screw that. I'm sleeping inside. And by the time we all went to bed, it was just like it was like a fun, like, big kid sleepover.
Like a sleepover.
And everyone's like playing around in the factory. And
I'm going to tell you this. Every time when I'm on a tour and I have the opportunity to not set up a tent and to sleep in a truck or a van or it's exactly what I do.
We made that call very early, me and Chris. And everyone was like around the fire, like, oh, we're sleeping in the tent. And like, no, you're not.
If they hadn't set it up yet.
Nate, I think even Nate had his rooftop outside, and he's like, dude, it's so much warmer in here. It was the kind of night, my first real cold night of the year, where, like, when you left the fire, like, you didn't want to leave the fire. It was cold. But there was, like, cookies and pecan pie and stuff, like, just up, like, you had to walk and get it, and I was like, it's away from the fire.
I mean, I'm so sad that I missed it. That I couldn't make it.
It was fun. And then we woke up at 6:30 and made it to open up the shop.
That's right. I saw it the next day. It's like you had to get up.
We're back. I came home for like a 10-minute shower, went to work, went to my parents' house for dinner, and then I crashed when I got home.
I asked for a present, but I got nothing.
It doesn't sound like there were many presents to be acquired.
There was no presents. Joey said he was going to have to stop at like a Wawa or something.
I said truck stop.
There was no place for presents.
So anyway,
Girl Scout cookies. That would have been anything, really. Little whoopie pie from a Wawa in Pennsylvania. That's adequate, too.
That would have been adequate.
Yeah, sweet.
Well, we got spoiled by Evan and the rest of the Nittany crew.
I know.
And and like way above and beyond. And it was such a nice reset for the bike shop people.
Yeah.
They did like a 50, 60 miler the next day. That looked brutal. And I'm so glad I didn't do that one after how my legs felt on Saturday. But I don't know. I love it up there. Yeah, I love PA. I'm slowly switching my vote from North Carolina. Remember, I rooted North Carolina.
I know. I don't.
And I was just there.
You'll never get back to that. PA
is so. I love PA.
I will say this: the people.
Evan just told me to buy some property up there.
That's all you got to do.
Costing nothing.
Yeah, then you're basically a Pennsylvanian.
Oh, I'd love to be that. We're doing that prep for taxes and stuff in retirement.
There you go.
And then we
can
really say yins.
What are you talking about?
that was it. I took a lot of our 20 minutes we want to talk about.
That's all right.
Did a
It was
shotgun
a really
trip.
long conversation.
Yeah, but hey, it's whatever.
I don't know why.
Probably the biggest thing that I
There
want
was
to talk
a
about.
hill, and there was
Okay.
another hill.
That's what all the people want to hear about, the cool adventures.
No, it's true. The only thing I really have to talk about, I did drop a video just a couple days ago on the bags that I carried on my bike and what I carried in them at Unpaved, and how they all performed and how they all did. And I will say, I was going to grade the bags.
You
Like,
were.
I was.
You degraded them.
No, I was going to grade them, but then I really got to the point where I was like looking at it, it's like nothing, it wouldn't have been fair to any of them because they all did the job. There was a standout, so watch the video to determine what the standout was.
Well, I will say I gave Chris one of my extra pierogi bags, and the first thing he put his phone in there, I said, "Don't worry about stuff that's in here." Fell in that puddle, and he's like, "Oh my god, my phone!" And I pulled out completely dry.
Yeah. You watch my video,
Yep.
you'll see all about that.
I did not fall in the puddle.
I'm in the midst of doing some, and you know this. We went on our little overnighter, and I came back and immediately started ordering things off REI. I'm doing some little gear inventory this winter and kind of replacement purchasing some things that have gotten worn, or quite frankly, because we talked about this when I started doing heavy tour work. Everything kind of slowly migrated to car camping gear. And so all my gear is like that car camping size stuff. So I am kind of slowly bringing it back to where I'm going to have a second set of gear that's going to be more oriented towards bike.
Do you have it all?
packing
Sorry,
gear.
I zoned out.
No, I'm just slowly and surely replacing stuff. I'm actually going to test some water filters. I got the Grail, the press, like the French
Oh
press.
yeah, I need a water filter.
And I got the Catadine Be Free. And so those two things, I'm going to kind of like see which
Like
one of
when
them
you
works
put like
better.
lake water in a bottle and it filters everything for you. That's
Yeah.
pretty
I
awesome.
mean, you basically
Yeah.
put pee in there and drink it.
Yeah, I need
No,
that.
I don't think you'd want to do that. Oh, you could.
Hold
You'd
on,
be
so
you.
So you got the bag one like Dustin Klein uses?
I got the little
Some of them.
Catadine Be Free, which is the bag,
Yeah.
which you fill up and you drink straight from it.
Or you could
And
fill up
then
your
I-
bottles with it?
Yeah, and I got a Grail, like the French press, which is a larger, heavier butt.
It's a larger, heavier butt?
It's larger and heavier, but that
So,
one
comma?
will fit in a water bottle holder on your bike. So there's like this kind of weird trade-off thing between. I don't know. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time with them, use them, and then do a long-term review before probably I've ever actually had the opportunity to take either one.
We'll take them down to the
wild.
creek and you got some water for you.
It does not do brackish or salt water. So
Oh.
I'm looking at next year's event plans. Starting to think about that. Jess,
Trying to
you've
get- I'm trying
inspired me
get
to do that.
December.
I know, right?
There's a lot going on in November.
But we need to. I want to fill out the since everybody's going to be back in business in 2022. I'm being very optimistic. I want to fill out the calendar. I want to get everything jammed in there really good and figure out what we're doing.
Not Larry jammed.
No, God, not one every week. But I want to get everything in our online calendar and then figure out what are the things that I want to do and places that I want to go. Mid-South is not on the radar, but Gravel Worlds might be because I know that's
It
on
might be.
I really like the looks of that course.
Okay.
I do. I really like the looks
I
of that
could do
course.
Croatan, Unpaved, and then a weekend with Evan again, and I'm good.
Okay. Last week,
Cool waves, a fresh buzz.
I invoked my all-day leg powers from Unpaved, and I rolled a little solo century. Did you know I even did that?
No, I didn't.
Thursday.
I haven't on Strava.
Thursday last week. It was one of those days where I got up. It was beautiful. I was like, I'm going to go for a long ride today.
The last ride with a child.
And then it was like, yeah, exactly, with the back baby. I was like, I'm going to do 50. Then I'm going to do 60. Well, if I just did this, and I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do a century. So I just rolled out. It was like 101, I think. Because I did head under the knife. I will share this information on Friday. Had just a little procedure. No, Joey did not do it with his Gerber Hall knife. Did not. I actually went to a real doctor and had a little.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. Actually, I stayed at a sleep in last night.
I said I had a little lipoma, but it wasn't so little. The doctor said it was the biggest one she'd ever seen.
Oh.
What's it called?
Lipoma?
Lipoma.
It's basically a fatty tumor.
Oh, yeah, our dog had those.
Yeah, thank you.
Max
Yeah.
had them all over him.
Yeah.
Also, my doors were on the inside last night, not the outside.
Okay, I was worried about you though.
Because the place I booked last time, the doors were on the outside, and I didn't even go in. I canceled it.
You drove up
And then I
canceled.
drove to the sleep in, and I stayed there again. Anyway.
Did you have any problems yesterday with all that wind driving the trailer?
Yeah, that's why I
did,
came back
yeah.
today.
Yeah,
An empty
yeah.
20-foot box trailer on 95.
Oh my god, I bet you had a.
And
I thought about you.
At first,
See,
I
I
was
think
so
about you.
thankful that I was like, all right, now I got like 20 boats in here. The weight, but the wind got worse.
Yeah, and those.
And then it was
boats
a
don't weigh that
headwind.
much.
Oh, I could watch my gas.
The gas was moving in direct proportion to the speed
Yeah.
to the speed of the speedometer.
I
Going
did save $2,118 doing that myself
oh,
from
wow.
not paying for
Wow.
FedEx to do that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Anyway,
Well, FedEx is expensive.
No,
shipping.
LTL, anyone like freight,
Okay, yeah,
because
yeah.
of gas and size.
Okay,
It's so expensive.
Well, I was sidelined for a few days. I didn't ride Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, but I got back on the bike Tuesday. The doctor, she told me not to do it, but she also said just take it easy. So I took it easy on my ride. So I'm going to go with
And
that
there's your
version
stitches.
of the truth. You want to actually develop good bike form, Joey? Have about 14 or 15 stitches put in the middle of your back. You will keep your shoulders back. You will keep your stomach out, and you will keep your arms bent. I
Poor fella.
guarantee it. I guarantee it. It will promote good bike form. Just put a gaping hole in your back and have it stitched up. That's the way to do it. So you want to look at Strava Club before our guest comes on?
No, basically, it's cool. It's cool. All right, no.
They're all there. I did them. I updated them all.
Yeah, I know.
I got
All
them
right.
all done.
Strava Club. Reese Stanley. So Yelnat Easer. You said that backwards. From
What?
Yelnats.
Why are we saying things backwards?
Yelnats.
Because Stanley Yelnats. with
Oh,
holes.
Stanley is
So my middle
Yelnats.
name is Stanley.
Okay. I see where he's going. It's
So I said
very obscure.
Yelnats Easer.
Very, very obscure.
From Tyler, Texas with 226.8.
Wow, that's awesome.
Kalista Phillips from Frederick, Maryland with 129.1.
What's up, Kalista?
Good job, Kalista.
And Jason Smith. How many Smiths do we have in our Strava Club?
I don't know.
From Winfield, West Virginia, when he has service, had 169.6 miles. The back doors open. We're down again. Only 112 miles for the top 100.
Yeah.
And we went up to 779. And if you're not on there, strava.com/clubs/gravel travel dirt.
Even my Peloton miles count on Strava miles.
Oh, yeah, they should.
They do.
Absolutely.
They do.
Hey, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Awesome tech tip I heard on Elliot in the morning.
Okay.
Because I listened to.
Oh, I listened to that too, but I only have a
Elliot.
3-minute drive to work.
I have had 15 hours in my truck the last 2 days. So you heard the story about the guy that was lost in the woods and then didn't recognize phone calls from the emergency from the.
No, I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear. So long
No.
story. He's somewhere out in the wilderness, and this person is lost. Doesn't actually realize there's people looking for him, though. That's the thing.
But he's getting any
Oh,
he's lost and
lost.
getting any phone call, but not taking it because he
Doesn't know
rec-
the number.
What a
From
ding
search and
dong.
rescue. Comes out of the woods the next day. Didn't turn out like the potato girl, or her boyfriend. Anyway, doesn't recognize the numbers, so doesn't pick up. Doesn't get picked up by search and rescue either.
That is
Somehow makes it out the next. Do you imagine dying after? Oh. Anyway,
So,
and
then they find your phone and it's like, look, he had all these
Oh,
missed
yeah,
calls.
These missed calls.
so I also want to know why they didn't text him too if he had service. But I heard some lady call in. So say you're out at unpaved somewhere in
I
Central
know where you're
PA,
going with this. Go ahead.
and so she said, if you know your phone's about to die or whatnot, change your voicemail to your location and just stay there.
Oh, that's
Okay.
a really good tech
Freaking
tip.
genius!
So
Like,
that
Jess
is-
was going to call the cops on me a few years ago, so I should have.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Because all the rescue people and all the fire departments have been saying, no, that is not the right thing to do because they've seen that. It's one of those internet things.
Oh,
What
I
they're
thought it was
basically
great.
saying is the amount of power and what type of connection is required to actually change your voicemail would actually be more detrimental than just sending a text. And we tell this to people on text on tours all the time. Don't try to call somebody. Don't try to do a group text because a single text to a single person requires less data and it requires less signal strength to get through. So basically they're saying it's a good idea.
All right,
in
it sounded
thought.
cool.
It sounded smart.
Being an Eagle Scout and taking Knowles classes, Don't get
I
lost.
always share my location now.
I'm talking about like this requires you to physically go into the wilderness, Jessica.
But I physically do go into the
No,
wilderness.
there's places where you can get like
Yeah,
bad
like
signal.
Oh, no.
anytime.
But if
Prince
I'm-
Frederick. Horrible signal in Prince Frederick.
Anywhere I'm convinced anywhere around here, yeah, I don't know how people do that, but if like I've gotten lost in Yellowstone and stuff
Ooh.
like I've been that idiot in Jackson Hole and South in the Black Hills when I was like 21. Never did it again. Now if I'm anywhere out doing that stuff, I'm getting a freaking spot tracker.
You know, I've been looking at
Yeah,
them.
that
Yeah.
thing that
I mean,
Ted had was
that
awesome. I mean,
is
that was
ideally-
able to.
It's basically $300
Yeah.
for the mini
Oh, yeah.
inReach, and it's like $60 a month, and you can do unlimited text.
And if you're doing that type of stuff,
I
anyway,
can't.
but the
So
voice note is
here's
cool.
what happens with me is I go out on a tour. Oh, I won't need something like this trip.
Yeah.
And you get out there and you're doing this campground in
Then
the
you're
middle of
stuck.
nowhere, and you're stuck. And you go, I'm going to get one for the next trip. And you go, oh, that next trip, I'm not going to be any. And then boom, same thing happens
Christmas
again.
present this year.
You know what? That's a grand idea. Thank you. Would you get it for me?
No, I was
Awesome.
going to say I'll call Carrie.
Oh, I thought you were offering to get it.
Oh, Patreon. We'll save over.
We'll put it on our Christmas.
Can we split the spot tracker?
We should do a. Yeah, actually, you could.
Oh, okay. All right. Here's,
yeah, because
all
it's an app that connects to the spot tracker.
Does anybody want to spot track me?
You don't even follow your Garmin.
That was some
There
serious.
was no silence. There was,
That was-
silence.
Serious awkward silence. I was waiting for Joey to go, well, of
Of
course.
course, I want to track you.
I'm
Jess.
not going to be the one that go, of course I'm going to track you, Jess.
Well, I think I have a date figured out for us doing a quick overnight in Croatan. Croatan's somewhere I would take a spot tracker.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
in
big.
fact, when I did my application, which, hey, Matt, if you listen, I did my application for the overnight, for the bike trip ahead of event day.
I'm texting. I've been texting Matt the last like 20 minutes.
He actually said, one of the questions on that is, do you have one? Do you need one? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Oh, spot tracker.
So, yeah. So
You might be able to rent.
my thing was, I don't have one now. Well, he wants everybody to, I think he was going to supply them.
Oh.
But by that time, I actually think I'm going to have one.
So I've had conversations with Matt the last few days, and recently today said I had, and I won't say the name, a very well-known older cyclist ask to be the MC for Buck 50. He said, but I told him I already had a guy booked. He said, you better get ready, exclamation point. And I said, no. I was like, are you kidding? And he's like, no, he really did.
Aw.
But I want you to do
Well, old boomer versus current young millennial out
I'm a
there.
Potter.
Podding.
I don't say I'm that much anymore.
He's like Joey Potter.
Yeah.
I get it. Joey
Joey
Potter. Like not Harry Potter.
Okay, I spent 20 minutes just talking about
We
that.
are way off the rails. Okay, folks, joining us now, Jason Strohbehn, who is the marketing director and co-promoter for Gravel Worlds. Welcome, Jason. It's great to have you join us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
First off, did I get your name right? I want to make sure that I got your name right.
You actually got it right. I'm very
That's
surprised.
good.
I
Good
think
job.
you're maybe like 5 out of in my entire life. So well done.
I will say I cheated. I watched the a video on
You're
your
not supposed to say that.
Facebook
You're
where
supposed
you.
to,
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm far less impressed now, but I'll take it. I guess.
But
and he's gone.
I did take the time to go and do the research and do the homework, so there's that. Give me a little bit of credit, Joey.
There you go.
Where are you calling us from tonight, Jason?
I am in Lincoln, Nebraska, right in the middle of the country.
Oh wow.
The middle of it all. Cool. And we're going to talk about Gravel Worlds, and y'all have a lot of exciting stuff and stuff that that's going on this year that's new, as well as building on the stuff that you guys have been doing for 10 or so years. But before we get to all that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am the marketing director and co-promoter of Gravel Worlds. I've been on the team since early 2019, and I just quit my job like 6 weeks
Good
ago.
for
to go full-time
you.
Congratulations!
doing this.
Yeah.
So following the dream of living the bike life, which is awesome. So we've built it up to where I'm our first full-time employee, which is super exciting.
That's awesome.
And just making changes here in the cycling community in Lincoln. I guess that's the very broad overview. I worked in private aviation before that, so way different. So.
Wow.
That's,
So
yeah.
big change.
What sparked your interest in the gravel world?
In gravel in general, so I started biking kind of like everybody. I rode as a kid, and then when I went to college, there were a couple friends of mine that rode, and when I really started getting into it again was just a friend that had a bike that he let me use. So, and did a couple long rides on like the rail to trail. I don't know if they call them that out there, but
Yeah,
just the limestone trails, and kind of I did the typical path. I feel like a lot of people did to gravel, where I bought a road bike and thought riding really fast on road was cool until got almost killed several times by cars driving way too close. And gravel has kind of always been a thing here in the Midwest, so I'd always heard about it. I'd always seen things. I mean, it wasn't called gravel biking 10, 15 years ago here. It was just they rode on the roads that they had. So I bought a fat bike to ride in the winter, and then I had a bunch of people that were like, hey, you should come do this race out in central Nebraska. It was called Odin's Revenge. Sadly, that event isn't anymore, but it was an awesome race. So my first gravel was on a fat bike, and I was hooked ever since. Literally, I'm friends with the people that I met from that very first race. And I feel like so many people know too, the gravel community is so accepting. They're so welcoming. I had done several road races and felt like I didn't know hardly anyone. And then from that first gravel race, I'm literally still friends with them, 7 years later. So, and then I just happened to be at the right place at the right time with Gravel Worlds, where the skills that I had were what they needed to help build the event. And I'm just super thankful for how the random things of life lined up to where I could be a part of where I'm at now, and get to be leading what we call the gravel family. So.
That's cool. That's super cool. I mean, and that leads right in. I always like to ask people when we have them on the podcast what their personal take is on why gravel has become so popular. And I think you kind of you led right into it. And but I'll let you answer the question because I think I know where you're going to go.
Why do you think gravel is expanding? Is that what you said?
Your personal take on that.
I did say it. So, it's the community. It really is. There's very few sports in general, and even cycling genres that seem so welcoming. One of my first, so after I did that Odin's Revenge in central Nebraska. It was like 100 people there, maybe at that race. My second race was Dirty Kansas or Unbound. So complete opposite ends of the spectrum, going straight to the Super Bowl.
Sure,
and just doing DK 200. Just showing up, and I went on a group ride with Rebecca Rush and Allison Tetrick and Amanda Panda, all these amazing athletes, the whole Gravel Guru crew. I was on a group ride with those people, and I was like, wait, should I be completely awestruck? Because I am, but literally, I'm literally talking to these people, and what's cool now is almost all those people I consider friends too, which is
it's cool.
Still super humbling and crazy to think about. But yeah, it's totally the community, the openness. You couldn't ever go to the Tour de France and hang out with Peter Sagan. You could never do that if you're a road cyclist, unless you probably pay a lot of money. But it's just the community around it, just being accepting to all different kinds of people too. I feel like other genres of cycling have left a lot of people behind, unfortunately. And gravel is actively trying not to do that. So that's something that's super cool as well. So, to me, gravel's where it's at.
Yeah.
And outside of that, it's just, especially around here in Nebraska, it's what we have. Just in our county, just in the county of Lincoln is in. So there's a city of 350,000 people. Outside of that city in our county, there's over 1,000 miles of gravel roads. In our county.
See, Joe,
so we got 2 miles right here.
We have 2 miles outside our front door here, and that's about it. We live in a bit of a wasteland, so to speak.
But the gravel itch is
Oh yeah.
Ridiculous.
We have to
drive.
We have to drive an
drive.
hour and a half or 2 hours to find it, and but the flip side is, Joey, we both live in places where we can literally walk out in our backyard and go fish. So there's trade-offs. There's trade-offs.
I took an employee and friend of mine this weekend first gravel event. I think he wants to quit, and that's all he wants to do. And he's like, there's like one car was on the road with us, and like all the people. It's exactly what you said. Is what Chris could talk about it for hours after his first event.
And I was
I mean, we around here we'll do a gravel century and maybe get passed by 2 trucks and a tractor.
That's awesome.
Like that for 100 miles. So it's
and they're probably
awesome.
not passing you at like 80 miles an hour like they are down here either.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. It's
so peaceful
for the most part. I mean, you got people that don't give you space, but it just like anywhere, but it is significantly better.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And like, I mean, here in the Midwest, like in Nebraska, everything's set up on a mile grid. Like if you would zoom in on Google Maps, like literally everything's a mile square. So, if you run into you can't go across, you go 1 mile over, 1 mile up, and 1 mile back, and you're right back on course. So
I was looking at the route for previous events just to kind of, doing my homework. And I noticed that everything was like right angles. It was like squares. Yeah. It's like the whole thing.
It's like when on the course, it'll be if there's like a curve, like on a course, people are like, ooh, a curve. That's
awesome. That's funny. The other thing that jumped out, you were talking about like you couldn't go to the Tour de France and like hang out with the riders, and that's so true. I was just watching. You guys watched the Rafa just dropped the Alt Tour thing with Lachlan Morton.
Yeah,
he did. This last tour season, and they would not even let him ride his bike. It's Lachlan Morton. He was not allowed to ride his bike across the start-finish line. Nope. It was like, diverting him off, and, it's that, well, I'll use the word elitist kind of an approach that I think gravel is
but ever since
to.
We got back from unpaved or doing a gravel ride, like as Joey's saying, the itch is getting bigger and bigger. Like all I want to do now is like, hey, Joey, let's go do it, go on a weekend trip and go grind. Like, let's go do some, not like that, Joey, but,
I was excited to go ride my bike.
But it's we did the same thing. We were riding with Olympic athletes during the gravel ride, and it was absolutely amazing. So
now you got to Nebraska and ride with a few thousand people.
I know. We'll see. We haven't confirmed that we're doing gravel worlds yet. We'll see.
Well, let's talk about
gravel worlds.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What's the
Let's talk about that shirt, because I want a Pirate Cycling shirt.
I was just saying, I love
I've
your
heard
shirt.
about the Pirate Cycling League for a long time, and I'm like, that is the coolest.
It is the very nice shirt.
Yeah. So I mean, we got to start with Pirate Cycling League is our club, our team.
Awesome.
We kind of are the team for the teamless, is what we kind of like to say. There's no entry fees. There's no annual cost. You just buy the kit. Rule number 1 is it's the same for Gravel Worlds, is don't be lame. It used to be don't be a dick, but too many people got angry at that. So I mean, that's really, I mean, it's like the golden rule, right? So don't be a jerk, don't be lame. Treat people and other people's things with respect, and you're cool to be a pirate for us. So it's kind of weird to have pirates in the middle of the country, but we're the good kind of pirates. So
could Joey and I actually join by buying the kit out here in Maryland? Could we do that?
Absolutely.
Joey, we need to do that.
I bought a lot of kits this year.
I know. So what? Who cares? It's all
so I don't mean to be rude, but I'm sitting like right at the table with you guys. Like, can I be included? Like, I'm sitting right here.
Absolutely. Of course you can. That was sort of a collective. I got caught.
Yeah, no, we want to expand Pirate Cycling League because it really is a very unique community where, I mean, we had one of our pirates out in Montana. He was on a ride. He literally saw somebody with a Pirate Cycling League hat on, and he's like, "Hey!" And it's just like, I mean, if it's a global community, that's awesome, And
that's cool.
And ultimately, at the heart of it, we want to be good people that are doing good things. We try to donate a lot of money from our event to give back to, organizations that we care about. And giving back to things that we care about too. So if you want to buy some PCL kit, we'll gladly accept you. And hey, if you want to be the Maryland chapter, the official Maryland,
there it is.
chapter,
There it is.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That's an invite. I heard it.
We have like an unofficial official chapter in Ohio that some guy was like, can I be the PCL chapter of Ohio? We're like, sure, go ahead, dude, let's do it.
I know you can't see Joey's screen right now, but Joey is Googling how to get
I've already liked it. So sorry, I'm
Joey does everything except podcast.
Yeah,
during
exactly,
the podcast.
exactly.
So besides Pirate Cycling League, who are the people behind the scenes for Gravel Worlds? Any folks that have been there?
So I mean, Gravel Worlds, we have a crew of 5. So our founder is Corey Godfrey. He founded Gravel Worlds in 2010. He actually had another gravel event called the Good Life Gravel Adventure for 2 years before. And then it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing because there was cyclocross worlds and there was mountain bike worlds and road worlds. And so it was like, there's not a gravel worlds. We're the gravel worlds, the official, unofficial gravel worlds championship. That keeps gravel. It doesn't have to have all these rules. And yeah, I think we have nine rules for our whole event, but rule number 1 is don't be lame. I know I already said that, but that really covers a lot of ground. We have to add things in there like no domestiques and stuff, but really rule number 1, don't be lame, covers a lot of ground. And you'll see that a lot of times at other gravel events. So that started with Gravel World. So we'll take that, let people use it because it really goes a long way. So, Corey Godfrey, the founder of Pirate Cycling League, is on our team. His name's, Craig Schmidt. We call him Schmitty. He'll be there at the finish line giving people hugs for sure. So he likes he's really good at coming up with like our kit designs for Pirate Cycling League, and he's a huge help on race day, and he's always riding with the leaders on race day too, keeping us updated on where people are at. So he's crucial to our event. We also have Jen Carlson. She's our volunteer director. And huge asset to us. And then last is Sophia Gibson. She's been a fan of ours since 2010, our very first year of Gravel World. When she was 10 years old, she was at our very first Gravel World. So cool. She was there to cheer on her dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, she's literally been there at every single Gravel World since the beginning, and she officially joined our team this year. So. Up until 6 weeks ago, when I quit my job, we were all doing this all on the side. And it's just gotten to a point where we can't, it's too big now, where, it's year round. We're doing stuff like this where, I can't do it on the side. So really thankful for the Nebraska community in general. To say that they're not part of Gravel Worlds would be a disservice because, the Lincoln cycling community is amazing. The Nebraska gravel community is second to none. So, and they've been there through us when it was 100 people from our first event, and hopefully to 3,000 people next year. So, they've truly been there. They're there to volunteer at our event. They're bringing literally we have so many people that bring their parents to volunteer while they're out doing the race. So it's literally. We say Gravel Family a lot. We started a blog series like 4 years ago called Gravel Family, and that truly embodies kind of how we feel about our cycling community. So we're incredibly thankful for them. We're very humbled to know we can't do it without each and every one of the people coming to our event. So they're definitely a part of it too.
How many volunteers?
This year we had 140 volunteers.
Wow. That's awesome.
for Gravel World. So. And one thing that was really great that we did with our volunteers is us and a sponsor of ours, Nebraska Orthopedic, they matched our donation. We were able to donate $50 per volunteer and raised almost $10,000 to the Randy Gibson Memorial Fund. So raising money for our park system. So that was, the volunteers, literally, to say Gravel Worlds couldn't happen without them is an understatement. So they make it go round for sure.
So we've spent all this time. Let's go through some of the nitty gritty details about this year's event, the dates, the location, all the details that everybody needs to know.
Absolutely. So Gravel Worlds 2022 is going to be August 19th and 20th. So this next year, we are adding also a gravel 50K ultra marathon. So run. So I guess people run as well. I don't know. I've never done it, but I guess
Running
some people
sucks.
I run. I love running marathons.
She runs on.
I love them.
So, I mean, you got to at least come out for the run then. Or you guys should. So we have a team option where if one person runs and one person does the 150 on Saturday. So
Joey's eyes just lit up like, ooh, this could be fun.
I will probably, I don't know. Jess and my boss need to come out and do it together. Women's teams.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think
We're getting a huge women's crowd from up here.
I think it is a calling of mine to keep bringing more women down to these big events. So I think that is something that I would like to devote my summer to doing. So
there you go.
Heck yeah. So yeah, we have our run on Friday the 19th, and then also on Friday we have our Long Voyage 300 that leaves on Friday at 5 p.m. and they ride all through the night, and they have to finish by 11 p.m. on Saturday. So that's 300 miles of Nebraska gravel. Our main event starts on Saturday. Our main event is our 150 miles of Nebraska gravel. It'll start at 6 or 6:30. Normally we start at 6 in the dark, but we might move that back to 6:30 since our event's getting a little bit bigger. That's a lot of people to be riding at dark. So it'll be 6 or 6:30. An hour after that will be our 75. So 75, and then after that is our 50K ride. So the same route that the runners will do on Friday, we'll have a biking version on Saturday as well. So
cool.
We have something for everyone, from beginner to extra crazy. So, and then we have like I said, we have the double. So if you want to do, you can do a team or you can do individual, where you do the 50K on Friday run and then bike the 150 on Saturday, which
that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy, but that is super cool challenge.
Yeah.
And then you guys are also doing something with a crossover with Mid-South, right? Didn't I see that?
Yep. Yeah, we're doing the Mid-South Gravel Worlds double championships. So not definitely a mouthful there, but we've kind of grown up with Mid-South. They've been longtime friends of ours, Bobby Wintle and their crew down in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I mean, they're Class A humans down there, doing a lot of good down there as well. So they've had their 50K 100 double since 2017 maybe, and then this year we're adding the run. And so ultimately we wanted that to be a sign of unity in gravel, because we've kind of seen that ugly head of division start to creep in. It's happened many times in other cycling genres, and we don't want that to be in gravel. So
get ahead of it. Nice.
There's no money involved. It's just the pride. I mean, we talked about the trophy literally being a jar of dirt. That's half Oklahoma red dirt and half like Nebraska white rock.
That's cool.
So like we might make it really cool or really lame. We don't know. Like, it's something that's so cool. Maybe the only person that thinks it's cool is the person that won it.
No, that beats any like metal hardware. That is so cool.
I want one now. Good idea.
And like do a thing where you like engrave the names of the plaques, and it has to be handed off from person. You know, you hold it for a little bit.
I want like a mason jar, like his moonshine.
It's not moonshine. For those watching, maybe on YouTube.
Jason's drinking moonshine.
Okay, now when does registration officially open? And I know I'm just going to go ahead and lay it out there. You got something really super special going on with your registration efforts. So when does it open? What's registration looking like? Yeah,
so I mean, first, before we need to talk about our initiative for 1,000 Women of Gravel World. So a huge thing for us is opening up doors for people that want the doors to be open to them. So in addition, we opened up a non-binary gender exclusive category this year. And then we also are opening up a week early to general registration. We're opening up 1,000 women's positions for Gravel World. So that gives them, a lot of times it's that rush of registration where women kind of get left behind, or, just statistically, if there's more men in there, they don't get the opportunity. So we're opening that door where if they want in, they can get in. In addition to those 1,000 women, we're going to be donating. Gravel Worlds will be donating $5 per rider, and then we have a sponsor called HMH Logistics that is also going to be matching that donation for up to $10,000 donated for those 1,000 women. That's going to go to the Nebraska NICA Grit program.
Oh, cool.
So that's NICA is the development program for teens and young kids to get on bikes. Specifically, their Grit program, Girls Riding Together, helps the girls in their organization get on bikes, find teams, get into races, learn the skills and everything they need to. So not only are we going to be opening up the door for more women to get into cycling at Gravel Worlds, and then who knows how many women will be inspired because of that, but we're also helping the next generation of female cyclists. So that opens on November 6th at 8 a.m. Central. So 1,000 women positions open up on November 6th. So just over a week from now. So
if I had an applause button, I would hit it.
Yeah, right?
But,
that sounds awesome.
That is fantastic. That's so... that's what it's all about, honestly. That's just so
really,
good.
It really is.
So good to be a leader.
So much of my bike riding is a combination. Like, my students who are middle schoolers love seeing pictures of me riding bikes. Like, they think my weekend adventures are so cool, and they're like, "You can ride how many miles?" Like, and I think when I can tell them that, it's really, really fun and really exciting for them to see that as a female, you have these things open to you. Yes, you can go ride gravel as a female over the weekend, and I think it's a really cool thing to keep showing to people, especially middle school girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think and an important thing too, it doesn't matter for us if you're doing the 50K, if you're doing 30 miles or 300, like each one of those women has a story and an inspiration to someone in their own life. So each one of those 1,000 women has a story and has an inspiration. Yeah. So we really hope that we can reach that goal. I think we will. It's a big ask to get to, but I think having women like Jess that are inviting people and inspiring people to get more women out here in Nebraska. And ultimately we want this to not just be like an exception to what's going on. We want it to be a rule for what other events can do, and hopefully give them a stepping stone of like, okay, that works. So let's follow suit and get more women into cycling. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. That is, like I said before, if we had I need to actually get a little soundboard.
Yeah,
you
could just clap.
But we could do that. I guess I could do
After Unpaved, it was when I was waiting for these two to be done, it was women were all together, like talking about things. Like, we were talking about our saddles, and I was like, I love my Mimic, and then literally a girl chimed in and was like, I can't ride without my Mimic. And it was just really cool to see how many females there were talking about gravel and riding and all these things.
That is awesome.
It's great.
When more women get in there, because their saddles is a huge one, because most saddles are designed for men. So like my wife, as an example, she's like, I don't know what to get. I don't know. And like, the more women that are there, the more products that are designed for women, the more things, like more community is around there for asking questions. So
people ask
everybody
me
wins.
Everybody wins the time. Like, what is your number one thing for feeling comfortable on your bike? And I was like, it's a good pair of bibs and it's a good saddle. Like, and that is probably the number one question I get on Instagram is, how do you start? Like, what do you need to get started in cycling?
Nice.
That's awesome.
So, what do the routes look like? What you mentioned? Nebraska gravel. We know Mid South is about mud. What's unique for Gravel Worlds with the routes? What do they look like?
So the rest of the registration. So women open November 6th. Long voyage. So we're opening up all the long voyage 300, all of the double and the 50K run. Those also open on November 6th. Everything else opens up on November 13th. So before I forget that. And then, so what are our routes like? The first thing we always say is Nebraska is not flat, at least not around here. So a lot of people think, Nebraska, Kansas, it's flat as a pancake. It's not flat. So our 150-mile course will have around 12,000 feet of elevation. So it's spicy. And the thing that's different with us than like the East Coast is it's just constant up or down. Like there's not going to be one massive hill that you're like, oh, that's what killed me. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts kind of thing. So it's like you're either going up like 3.5-4% grade, or you're going down 3.5-4% grade like the whole time. So it's literally rolling hills. Nebraska, our gravel is mostly pretty good, like pretty packed, where you can get you rolling almost like concrete if it's dry. But then if it's wet, it can get pretty soft pretty quick. But then once it stops raining, it dries out really fast because it's really sandy here. So, and then we also have some like pea gravelly type roads where it can get pretty thick, like 3-4 inches of pea gravel, like almost like sand, where it's like you're doing a cyclocross, sand pit sometimes. So, and then we obviously have dirt roads, and we call them MMRs, minimum maintenance roads, where if it's wet, it's hike a bike, like it's peanut butter sticking to the tires real fast. So you might get like 2 rotations of the tire before you can't ride. So, but if it's dry, those MMRs are like really hard and pretty awesome. So, we're pretty unique. That's what's so great about the Midwest too, is like literally if you go over to Iowa, their gravel's limestone. If you go down to Kansas, they got a lot of flint rock that's really sharp, and you go a little south of that at mid-south, and it's all that red clay mud stuff. So, it's fun being here in the Midwest because everything's a little bit different spices on there.
all of those things considered, what's the generally accepted best bike setup? What's that look like?
I mean, Panaracer is a sponsor of ours. I rode Panaracer before, just riding some Gravel Kings with 38s. 38, 42s, something like that. That's pretty solid setup. Obviously, a gravel bike would be ideal. For tire clearance, if you have some for mud, it's really not going to matter if you go down a mud road, like how much tire clearance you have. It'll cake it no matter how thick it is.
What you got, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as long as you have quite a good amount of tire clearance and you're riding 38s, I actually ride during the summer when it's dry. I'll ride like the knobby Gravel Kings on the front and the actual like slick Gravel King on the back, where it's like a road tire. So but they're new. The Panaracer, is it the SS, the semi slick, where it's like knobby on the side and slick in the middle? Those are like perfect for around here. They're pretty solid.
Sounds like those Washburns. Joey and I've been running those Terravale Washburns, and it sounds like that. It's kind of gritty on the outside and slick in the center. Yeah, Pathfinders.
I have Pathfinders.
Yeah. So 38. Joey,
are those the specialized ones?
Yes.
Specialized Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people ride those too. Those are very similar, very cool.
I ride whatever my husband puts on my bike.
Joey takes good care of that. So looking big picture, whole weekend, or however long people want to be in Lincoln, what does the whole of the event, the weekend, look like?
I guess what's the best way to plan for it?
Oh, there we go. That's a great way to phrase that question.
How would you set that up for someone that, if you're going to be a travel agent?
If you're coming in out of town, our week kind of starts on Wednesday. So we have a route release party, a route discussion party on Wednesday night at CycleWorks. That's our local bike shop that is our shop sponsor. So we have a big party there. A lot of times, Shilling Bridge, who's our restaurant sponsor, they'll have some kegs there where we can hang out and maybe have a good time on Wednesday night. Thursday, we'll have an expo and demo day all day. So this year we had 5 or 6 bike companies that had demo fleets there that you could go do a long route or a short route and get your hands on bikes, which was really hard to do this year to get your hand on and try a bike. So that was actually probably the best part of the weekend for a lot of people is they got to, try out a new Specialized or try out the new Lao for Allied was there too. And Giant. There's quite a few bike companies there that you could just go test them out. So we have the Expo all day Thursday and Friday. This next year, we'll have on Thursday night, we'll have our rider party at Shilling Bridge where, we'll have live music and just people hanging out Thursday at Shilling Bridge. Almost everything outside of Wednesday night is at Shilling Bridge, which is on the north side of town of Lincoln. It's literally a mile from the gravel. So it's a great start area where we can, once you start, you're less than a mile to hitting actual gravel. So we hang out there. That's where our expo, that's where our start, finish, check-in, all that stuff is. Friday morning, we'll have the run take off, and then the expo is going on all day with check-in. And then 5 p.m. Friday is the long voyage, which was super exciting this year. This was our first year doing the 300. That was super electric. We had the mayor of Lincoln do a welcome speech, but then, there were hundreds of people out there just cheering on the people that were leaving. So that was really cool. So come out and cheer those people on for sure. And then the race is Saturday, and depending on when you finish, hang out or go take a nap and then come back and hang out. Okay. And then Sunday we'll probably this year we might do like a really easy like burrito group ride or something. We'll meet at a local restaurant and just have breakfast burritos and do a ride on the trail or something, just to shake out the legs that really are hating you at that time.
That sounds like a fun, action-packed weekend.
Yeah, it does. Now, do people camp or is there like a hotel? Like
one hotel, one big. Just kidding.
Yeah, we have one hotel that has 3 rooms and we all share.
Yeah. Okay, I've been staying in hostels and all these things, whatever they are. I've been doing all of this past month. I feel like nobody has a nice fluffy bed with a nice shower for me. I'm just
we have plenty of hotels. That's actually one good thing about Lincoln is 2 weeks after Gravel Worlds. 2 weeks after Gravel Worlds is Nebraska football, which brings in 500,000 people. So the hotels don't even hardly know we're coming. So the prices don't go through the roof. Restaurants you can go to any restaurant or you can just hang out at Shilling Bridge the whole time. And they have good food and beer, which is where most people hang out anyway. But yeah, we have tons of we have an airport. We have tons of hotels, tons of things to do out in downtown Lincoln as well. So.
Well, they probably do notice when they have to clean up the mud and the dirt in the lobby when all the people roll in their bikes.
Jeez.
We do have one. Our main hotel is the Graduate, which is right downtown. It's 4 miles from the start. It's literally right down the interstate. You just go straight north of town and you're right at the start line. They're really awesome because on race day, they start serving breakfast at 3:30 in the morning. So riders can start getting food and, do whatever they need to do to get ready and then head out to race day. Pretty early start since we start at 6 or 6:30. So yeah, they start serving breakfast really early, which is awesome. And I think they also do a to-go bag breakfast too, where you can just, if you're like most people and don't want to get up earlier than you have to, you can just grab it and go.
Grab and go. Joey, make a note of that hotel name so that we can not make reservations there until we miss the window to get it.
I'm pretty bad at booking stuff until the last minute.
Me.
Okay, Jason, any shout outs for event sponsors? Any folks you want to call out?
Yeah, the biggest one is we need to give some love to HMH Logistics, who's matching our donation for that 1,000 Women initiative. If you're a farmer or construction, if you need any kind of big equipment hauled around the country, they can help move it for you. So huge thanks to HMH Logistics. They just came and they're like, what can we do to make it happen? And we just said, you want to donate some money? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So up to $5,000, which is huge. So thank you to them. And then we have all of our sponsors listed on our website. So thank you to all of our sponsors who make it happen for sure. So.
And what is that website? So folks, if they want to find out more, can go.
Oh, it's
Oh, okay.
I would say I found the hotels where to stay on the website for all you folks. So, sorry, Jason.
gravel-worlds.com.
Yeah.
/race-day, and you can find where to stay.
There you go. Thank you, Joey.
Yep, we have. Yep.
And I'm sure you've got
Race day.
all your socials and Instagram and all that stuff is all linked off of the website. So we'll just
Yep.
throw that out.
We even got a
Gravel-worlds.
TikTok now. We have a TikTok. Watch out.
Got Jess very excited.
I hate TikTok.
If you need me to make a TikTok for you guys, you just let me know, and I'm all for it. Okay,
Okay.
and it might be
mean,
on my
we're-
Peloton. Like, let's be real. Like, I ride my Peloton in the morning. So
You were going to ask that question,
I
Jess.
was, but you said that somebody might mock me.
No,
but
I did not. I did not.
I did.
I said, Joey said that. What was, you had a question for Jason about training on a Peloton.
Yeah,
Go ahead and ask
just
your question.
hold on one second. Joey actually called me after I sent that text and said, "Why don't we not talk about the Peloton?" So I know, right here.
Well, I'll
Okay,
give you the chance.
so could I train for Gravel Worlds 150 on a Peloton?
Crickets.
I know.
I mean, you could. I mean, I'm not going to say you can't, but
Okay.
in so many ways that would suck. So.
Okay.
It's so terrible.
I think the big drawback would be bike handling requirements.
What
on
the
gravel.
gravel's going to do to your body.
Yeah,
with bike
that would be the
handling.
hardest part. No.
Yeah,
no.
you
I'm
can't.
terrible at bike handling.
But you also
That's
can't.
why we should go out.
So probably don't stay on the Peloton.
I think it's actually made it worse because like I'll spin my legs and I'll stop for a second, like grab a drink of water and then keep going.
I've noticed that.
And I think Joey has noticed that it's gotten exceedingly worse since I've been riding my Peloton.
Oh, okay. Well, use it for fitness. You would absolutely 1,000% be there from a fitness level.
Exactly.
But I
'cause-
think mentally, from what the gravel's going to do to your body, what the gravel's going to do to the bike, the way you're going to feel at the end of the day, the bike handling.
and
I think
the
all those
only
things
way
would-
we know about all these
you would
things
suffer.
is if I test it out. That's it.
Oh,
That's
there we
the only
go.
that's the only way we'll know these answers.
Well, Jason, listen,
It is.
I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
yeah.
It's been a great
you.
This was
conversation. Now, we always ask our guests if they would like to stick around for this or that. I'm not going to really give you a choice. You're going to stick around for our this or that.
We don't usually ask.
We just kind of dive into
No
it.
one has said no, though.
Well, I haven't let them. That's why. Okay, so this is the order of operations. I've got 4 this or that's this week. I'm going to toss it over to you, Jason, first, then Jessica, then Joey.
Do I
then
have to explain my answer? Or I just say
Usually,
the
that's
answer?
the best way. Is
You can explain. You
Yeah.
cannot explain. It's totally up to you. How you
Please show
answer
your
these.
work.
yeah.
Please show your work.
Mine will be a 5-minute answer.
Joey just rambles and rambles.
Okay, our first item on
All
this
right.
week's This or That. Would you rather accidentally open a chamois butter packet and eat it, or accidentally open a goo packet and spread it on your nethers?
Oh, man.
I remember that now.
Oh, man. I mean, is it safe to eat chamois butter? Like, would that, like...
I have no idea.
Let's find
I
out.
think I would rather have sticky balls than maybe die. So Shandy Butter is one of our sponsors. So if Shandy Butter is edible and I don't know that, I'm sorry.
I mean-
is it edible?
Does it say?
This little packet was next to my goo packet last week. And I could see where you would mix that one up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're drained like mile 120 in, and you just rip the wrong packet, because I keep a couple of these in my bag.
It would take.
Like, you know it's happened though. Like there's no way that hasn't happened.
Oh yeah. If we've had anybody out, any listeners, we're
And
gonna do a
I was
listener
going to
call.
say, any listeners, call on in if you've eaten your chamois butter.
Long-time caller, first-time listener. Yeah, call in.
Chamois butter's great on toast. Jess, what would you rather do?
I think the texture of goose is disgusting. Like, I think it is disgusting, so I'm definitely going with eating chamois butter. Like,
happen to have it all.
yeah, you can tell we are a bike house when we have chamois butter in our kitchen. You can tell.
I'm going to write them an email tomorrow as like a concerned bike shop. Like, so what if one of my customers
Accidentally ate a little tiny chamois butter packet.
doesn't say on there?
I literally cannot stand eating the goo packets anymore.
They're disgusting. I can't.
I'm just not anything against goo, the brand.
Have you tried the new like hydroponic ones or whatever? They're like a little bit more watery.
That would actually solve my problem with them. But
they're quite good.
Getting back to the question at hand, I just don't want. I agree. The sticky And you would be a lot sharper because you put the chamois butter on early in the day, but I guess the packets are kind of like mid-ride things too. So the whole idea of being like in the bonk zone and accidentally doing one or the other.
I think I had 15 goo packets 2 weeks ago and like 14 of the gummy packets.
You know what concerns me the
and
most?
I might have eaten a chamois butter packet. It was a very vigorous 100 miles.
What?
Oh,
Wait,
I was trying.
I don't think you need to eat that many.
Oh, I did, and I nutrition. So I've done long rides and messed up nutritionally. Like Dirty Kansas, one of them. And I said, I'm going to finish this thing. So I made it an eating contest. And I ate, and I was still a little hungry, but I could have eaten a chamois butter packet.
I ate...
But I would totally take sticky nuts.
6. Well, I didn't even answer mine yet.
You didn't even ask me to answer, so I'm butting in.
You're butting in. I would be fearful, though, that I would eat a chamois butter packet and actually like it.
Then you're like on Lifetime or like the Strange Addiction shows on A&E or whatever.
I can't believe I'm listening to this conversation right now.
All right, let's go. Number 2.
He just gets the like peanut butter jar kind of chamois butter.
Spread it with a little knife. Woo!
Like mayonnaise.
The second item on this is that Squid Game or Game of Thrones.
Oh man. Well, I haven't. There's going to be more seasons of Squid Game, so hopefully it ends better than Game of Thrones. But man, Squid Game was pretty good. Man, that's a tough one. I'll probably go Game of Thrones.
Jess?
When I had the COVID vaccine in one arm and the flu shot in another arm, I was like, okay, Brian says the Squid Games is good. I'll watch it. I watched like 15 minutes of it. And I was like, it wasn't just my thing. So I watched some really good Netflix shows. Like I Netflix binged on Saturday. But
do you like foreign films though? Like, do you like foreign movies?
No, I don't. So
okay.
it just wasn't my genre. But I used to watch Game of Thrones in my little apartment in Easton on my little iPad like this big, on my one little bed apartment until So I'm gonna go Games of Thrones. I really liked Games of Thrones.
Until I shacked up with her and put a TV in it.
This is actually, I wrote this and it's still a tough one. I actually enjoyed Squid Game because...
I did too. I liked it a lot.
It was just quirky and weird, but there was no light-hearted brevity in that thing at all. It was like full on, like crazy from beginning to end.
Pretty much, yeah.
Game of Thrones was so dark. I'm gonna go Game of Thrones.
I loved Games of Thrones.
I'm gonna go
loved
Game of Thrones. I'm gonna go Game of Thrones. Joey?
Well, that's twice you skipped over me.
No,
you're
normal.
last.
Joey's gonna say, and we're gonna bike shop. I don't watch
literally
Netflix.
can play this back.
That's what Joey's
I think
gonna
you
say.
always wrap it up.
No,
Go ahead, Joey.
I haven't watched either of them.
See,
Well,
I
it's
knew
because
it was the
it's
same.
because usually
I
it's
didn't
just
watch either of them.
It's usually just the two.
I didn't
of us
watch
and you
Lion
go
King
first.
or whatever that was. I'm really bad at like staying hip. Like I'll rewatch Schitt's Creek all day.
I think I'm on my.
Seinfeld is back on.
I'm on my third run right now of New Girl. So.
Yeah, that New Girl too.
I'm the third. I'm literally the third time through Big Bang Theory right now. I'm like about to finish it the third time.
I watched Big Bang last night. Yeah.
Okay, third item on this week's This or That. Hallmark Christmas movie marathon, or pack your jersey pockets with mud and gravel before a long ride.
I hate Hallmark.
You'd
Yeah,
just rather go pack your jersey pockets. It's like hands down, like both of you at the same time are like, putting mud all over my pockets.
I don't care. I mean, you're asking, would you rather ride your bike or not ride your bike?
Oh,
That's how I interpreted that question. So
There you go. That actually boils that down perfectly.
There was some meme today. It was like, what's one network that has like 4 actors, 2 plots, 1 producer with like 700 films, and it's Hallmark.
I get a lot of video editing work done while Hallmark Christmas movies are on the TV. So, well, I mean, I'm in my computer working.
I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a Hallmark Christmas movie. I mean, it might be a decade since I've watched one. I actively try to avoid them. So
I tolerate them, but I'm with you. I mean, when you boil that thing down to ride your bike or not ride your bike, it's like it's a no.
Us millennials, we don't have cable. So I don't even have to worry about Hallmark.
It's true. I haven't had cable since 2007, I think.
Brian came over. I'm like, can I have your cable lock in? He's like, what? I was like, haven't had cable. I don't think I've had cable in my adult life.
Yeah, but you see,
I want to watch the World Series, and
you
that's
needed it. You needed it, so you're asking
But you
me.
have it, yeah.
So that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. What I tell you, I give it to you. Yeah. Okay, last item on this week's This or That, and this is a seasonal one: Halloween or St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I mean, do people celebrate St. Patty's Day?
Yes.
I'm gonna say Halloween. I've never gotten into it. I mean, it's just a Tuesday. You go drink, so it's fine. Like I'll pick Halloween.
It's every other day.
I'll pick Halloween.
Jess?
Yeah.
So it's really funny. I live in the development where my kids go to school. So I live and my zone is districted.
It's my worst fear in
And
life.
Joey's like, here's another student. They're going to egg our house. They're going to do it. They're going to steal our cars. But nobody has done it yet.
Utes.
The street utes are coming.
I will say, I was in Ireland for St. Patty's Day. Ooh. And you almost couldn't tell if it was a Halloween or a St. Patty's Day because it's like it is crazy there. I've never seen more alcohol consumed in my life than that night. So maybe a St. Patty's Day in Ireland because that was kind of fun to people watch. Cool. But I'll pick Halloween.
Joey,
well, I may be Sikorsky, but I am 100% Sheehan. My mom's side, I am hardcore. Not hardcore like some people. I love being Irish. And I love St. Patty's. That is the best meal of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And I love everything about St. Patty's Day. I don't think I celebrated enough as I should. Mm-hmm. But
didn't we one year talk about corned beef and cabbage tacos?
We did.
Yes.
We did.
Yeah.
I have like 4 corned beefs stashed in my freezer because I buy them when they're cheap.
Oh, he does.
And I need to make one soon. Maybe I'll make it next week and some pierogies. Oh. Mix the Polish and Irish side.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
Is there any food that's not better tacoed?
That's true.
Yeah, but it's taco a sandwich.
Oh, here's one.
Don't start with that.
We used to combine Chinese in that.
We do what now?
In high school,
Uh-huh.
you go to like Dynasty and then go back to Moe's or something.
Oh, and put them all together?
Oh yeah, you get General So tacos.
Oh, see now you're being like all fusion over there.
White Duck Taco in Asheville does that. Yeah, you put some crispy beef on a taco.
It always devolves
corned beef, anything
to talking about food. It always comes back to food.
I love food.
All right, well, that's all for my This or That's. Again, Jason, thank you so very much for joining us. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
And
this was a blast. I hope you all come out to Lincoln in August. Our crew is going out to Unpaved next year, so
nice. We'll be there.
Cool.
Yeah, we're good friends with Dave Pryor, so
now you'll know why I ate
like
20 goo packets. And now it's just on the 95 miler.
I did the big full pull.
I did the big
127 full pull.
Yeah, but I had like 4 free beers and you had 0.
I got
back in time.
Yeah, I got back. I got back in the dark.
I did the 30 twice because I didn't listen to my Garmin. So Joey this morning when he said it was like, if you're going to go to Gravel Worlds, you're going to have to learn how to use that Garmin and listen to it. And I was like, oh my god.
All right. Anybody else got anything else before we shut this thing down?
No.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do that is give us a 5-star rating or consider dropping us a review. You can obviously also find us on Patreon.
You can leave us an honest review for a 3-star.
Yeah. And how can folks get in touch with us, Joey?
Well, if you want to actually get in touch with us, I'm at the Patuxent Adventure Center. But if you want to actually... sorry, I'm stalling. All right, here we go.
Literally,
our website's at graveltraveldirt.com. Our Instagram is at MidAtlanticGTD, where I posted today. I was in Emporia, Virginia.
Okay.
Not Emporia, Kansas. Our Wookiee contest is extended one more week through the month of October. So if you want to call us and leave us a voicemail of your best Wookiee impersonation, our phone number for that is 410-474-8345. Please call it. Leave a voicemail. Best Wookiee impersonation next week. I will draw the winners.
Okay.
And I'll send you some swag bag.
We're gonna keep at that until we get somebody to Wookiee.
Yeah, I need that. I'm gonna get Jason. I'm gonna get Dave. I'm gonna get everyone to send.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to do it on the voicemail. So I
I gotta make the.
You got to make the
Come on,
call.
I don't get an auto entry there. It's already saved. You got the audio.
Folks, Mid-Atlantic Gravel Travel and Dirt was recorded this week from right here in Joey's Kitchen in Solomons, Maryland, all the way out to Lincoln, Nebraska. Thanks for riding along. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, bye. Thank you again,
And
Jason.
don't be lame.